Have you ever felt like you are pouring water into a bucket that has a hole in the bottom? You spend hours staring at textbooks. You memorize list after list of vocabulary, and you push yourself until your eyes hurt. Yet, when it's time to actually speak, the words just vanish. You feel stuck. You feel like you aren't talented enough. But I'm here to tell you that talent has nothing to do with it. Your brain isn't broken. Your method is. Today, we are going to stop the grind. We are going to stop working harder, and we are finally going to start working smarter. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. If you are tired of the exhaustion that comes with learning a language, you are in the right place. Today isn't about giving you more grammar rules or longer lists of verbs to conjugate. Today is about strategy. It is about how to hack your own psychology and biology to make English stick without the burnout. We often think that success comes from suffering, that if you aren't tired, you aren't learning. That is a lie. We are going to deconstruct the hustle mentality and replace it with 7 scientific, practical techniques that will change the way your brain processes new information. We are moving from brute force to precision engineering. Let's dive in. Point 1, the sponge theory, frequency over duration. Let's start with the biggest myth in language learning, the marathon study session. We have this idea that sitting down for 3 hours straight makes us disciplined. But let me ask you, if you hold a dry sponge under a running tap, what happens? At first, it absorbs water, but once it's full, the water just bounces off and goes down the drain. It doesn't matter how much water you pour, the sponge is at capacity. Your brain works exactly the same way. There is a cognitive limit to how much new data you can encode at one time. When you force yourself to study for 2 hours without a break, the last 90 minutes are often wasted. You're just pouring water down the drain. So, we are going to change the protocol. We are shifting to high-intensity interval learning. Instead of one painful 2-hour block, I want you to break it down. Try 25 minutes of focused work followed strictly by a 5-minute break. This isn't just to make you feel good, it's biological. During that 5-minute break, where you stand up, stretch, or grab a glass of water, your brain is actually processing and filing the information you just learned. If you are looking for the best English learning routine, this is it. It's not about volume, it's about absorption. You need to let the sponge dry out a little bit so it can absorb more. Short bursts, high focus, real recovery.
Point 2, the mixed meal approach. Now let's talk about boredom. Boredom is the enemy of consistency. The reason you get bored is likely because you are doing the same repetitive task for too long. If you only eat plain rice every day, eventually you will stop eating. You need a balanced diet. We call this the mix and match rule. Do not spend your entire study session doing just one thing. If you spend 30 minutes just reading grammar rules, your brain goes into autopilot. You stop paying attention. Instead, create a circuit for your brain. Let's say you have a 30-minute block. Spend the first 10 minutes on input. Listen to a story or a podcast. Spend the next 10 minutes on analysis. Write down 3 sentences about what you heard. Spend the final 10 minutes on output. Read those sentences out loud, focusing on your intonation. By switching the mode of learning from passive to active, you keep your brain on its toes. You remain alert. You are hitting the language from multiple angles, listening, writing, and speaking all in one session. This prevents that zombie mode where you are reading the words but understanding nothing. Point 3, the invisible classroom, the 2-teach technique. This next technique is my absolute favorite because it exposes exactly what you know and, more importantly, what you don't know. It's called the 2-teach technique. There's a famous saying that you don't truly understand something until you can explain it simply. We often fool ourselves. We read a grammar rule and nod our heads, thinking, yeah, I get it. But can you use it? From now on, the moment you learn a new phrase or a new rule, I want you to become the teacher. You don't need a real student. You can teach your reflection in the mirror, your dog, or even your houseplant. The target doesn't matter. The vocalization matters.
Pretend you're explaining this new concept to a friend who speaks zero English. Simplify it. Give examples. Tell them why we use this phrase. When you articulate the lesson out loud, you move the information from short-term memory into long-term understanding. If you stumble, or if you can't explain it simply, that is your brain telling you that you need to review it again. It's the ultimate self-test. Point 4, micro-shadowing moments. Let's move on to speaking practice. A lot of people ask me, how can I improve my accent if I don't have time? They think they need an hour of silence to practice shadowing exercises. And while deep practice is good, we can actually use the dead time in our day. We call these micro-shadowing moments. You see, shadowing for 20 minutes straight can be exhausting. Your jaw gets tired and you lose focus. But what if you shadowed for 30 seconds, 10 times a day? Think about your day. You have these tiny pockets of waiting for the kettle to boil, walking to the bus stop, waiting for the elevator. These are your micro classrooms. Take one phrase you heard in a podcast earlier and loop it. Say it quietly to yourself while you wait for your coffee. Match the rhythm, match the emotion. You might be searching for tips on how to understand native English speakers, and the secret is actually mimicking them in these small bursts. By doing this throughout the day, you are keeping the English channel in your brain open from morning until night, rather than just opening it for 1 hour and closing it for the rest of the day. Point 5, the sleep preview trick. Now this next one sounds like magic, but it is grounded in neuroscience. It is the sleep preview. Sleep is not just rest for your body, it is a file-saving process for your brain. During REM sleep, your brain sorts through the day's experiences and decides what to keep and what to delete. We want to trick your brain into prioritizing your English studies. Point 7, gamify your life. Finally, let's talk about dopamine. Your brain loves rewards. It loves seeing numbers go up. That's why video games is so addictive. We need to steal that addiction and apply it to English. You need to gamify your learning. Stop looking at study as a chore and start looking at it as a quest. Create a point system for yourself. Seriously, write it down. Watched a 10-minute English video? Plus 10 points. Spoke to yourself for 5 minutes? Plus 20 points. Learned 5 new words? Plus 50 points. Set a goal. When I hit 1,000 points, I will buy myself that fancy coffee I like, or I will take a night off to watch a movie. When you attach a positive reward to the effort, you rewire your brain to actually crave the study session. You stop dreading the work and start chasing the points. It turns the heavy burden of education into a lightweight game of progress. Conclusion. So there you have it. The path to fluency isn't paved with sleepless nights and exhausted frustration. It is paved with smart, calculated strategies. Remember, it's about short bursts to keep the sponge absorbing. It's about mixing your activities to kill boredom. It's about teaching to learn, utilizing micro moments, priming your sleep, focusing like a sniper, and turning the whole process into a game. You have the tools now. The question is, which one will you try first? Don't try to do them all today. Just pick one and see how it changes your workflow. If you found value in this new approach and you want to continue this journey of smarter learning, I would love to have you officially join our community. Please hit that like button if this helped you, and make sure to subscribe to English Glow. We are building a family of smart learners here, and I want you to be a part of it. I'm Tom, this is English Glow, and remember, don't study hard, study smart. I'll see you in the next one.